Welcome, prospective students. I'm Professor Anita Klute from the Faculty of Theology at the University of Theology. I'm part of the Department of Practical Theology, of which I will tell you later. It's a great pleasure for me to explain a few things to you in terms of the options that we offer at the faculty. I hope that after this presentation that you will at least know two things. You will know more about the BTH offering that we have, and that you will also know what is the help and assistance that you can get at the faculty but also at the University of Stellenbosch. So I would like you to have a close listen to what I have to say, and so that you can have more information on what we offer specifically at the Faculty of Theology. It's really a pleasure for me to speak to you, and I hope that you will find the information valuable. First of all, I would like to introduce you to one of the programs at our faculty, which is the Bachelor's of Theology, and we offer that in two options. In other words, it's only one Bachelor's of Theology, but we do give that two options to the students. They can choose the general option, and they can also choose the youth work option. I will explain the difference between the two a bit more as we go along, but so that you can know which one to choose. Like I said, it's only one BTH, but you have two options within this BTH offering. First of all, it's important for you to understand what is the different, what is theology, maybe in the beginning, before we sort of explain the difference between the two. Theology is the study of the Bible. I'm sure you've had that idea before, that is what theology is about. It's not Bible study per se, but it's really studying how did the Bible come into being, when more or less was it written, who wrote it, and how to use the Bible today, because the Bible was not written today. And it's important to understand the context and the background of the Bible, but it's also important then how do we use and how do we talk about the Bible today. Because in many matters in society, especially Christians, they do use the Bible, and sometimes we say we use the Bible out of context. So that's the first focus of theology. So we have a department of Old and New Testament, and they focus on these things that I just mentioned. Then secondly, we also focus on the history and teaching of the church. I'm sure if you belong to any church, you have certain teachings, certain things that you've been taught from childhood, and that you are now maybe teaching people in the community or in the church, and you also hold certain beliefs. Now, it's important to understand where does this beliefs come from, what is it grounded on. So we talk about the dogmatic positions of the church. So it's important that you also understand what you believe and why you believe that. You will also learn in this focus about the policies of churches. In other words, how churches govern. We know churches is not in heaven, it's here on earth. And therefore, it's important that churches also govern in a certain way. So in church polity, you will understand something about the policies of the church and how church is governed. Then lastly, you will also learn about practical theology, is the focus here, practical services within the church. In other words, we do certain things in the church over and over again. Why do we do them? And what is the belief systems behind these practices? Then, before you can get here, of course, you need to pass your matric. And what is important here is to remember that you need to pass with an overall average. In other words, all your subjects together, with the exclusion of life orientation. You need to pass your subjects with an average or your overall National Senior Certificate with 60%. That's important that you have fulfilled that criteria. Then, like I said in the beginning, I would like to focus on one program specifically that we offer, the BTH. The BTH is only 3 years, and in this offering you don't have to do the original languages, which is Hebrew and Greek. You remember the Bible was not written in Afrikaans, English, of all the languages that we have today, but it was written in different languages before. It's not, you don't have to do this, it's not compulsory for you to do this, but it's interesting, and you will have a choice to choose it if you would like to. So again, I mentioned the two options within the BTH option, that is the general and the youth work. And then of course you may have listened or watched the other presentation that has been done or will be done on the BDiv, which is a bit of a longer training, and that's more normally the training that certain churches require. The basic requirement is 4 years, and there's some churches that even require another 2 years after the 4 years. But I would like to focus, like I said, on the BTH. So that's the Afrikaans explanation of what the BTH program is, and I would like to turn immediately to the English slide, and there you are trying to sort of put them together just to more or less see what is the difference between these options within this offering. The first one we call the general, and to remember, in both these options we do share a core of theological modules. In other words, both these programs have certain modules in Old and New Testament, for instance, in systematic theology, in practical theology, that all of you do together, which is actually nice. But then you also have specific modules you would see later if you look at the youth work side, where you have 10 youth work specific modules that people that choose this option have to do. So in the BTH general, you have more options that you can choose from. So what we refer to those modules as electives. So you have more options to choose electives. You share a core, but then you have more options to choose from. So I will focus a bit more on the youth work because it's a more specialized focus. So I say this is a more fixed program because we choose the modules for you, and you have, I think, about 1 or 2 elective modules. Like I said already, it's more specialized, it's more focused, and an important part of this program is that it got you more exposure to service learning. Now, what is service learning? Service learning is where you render a service in the community. By doing that, you are actually learning. So first of all, the service must be needed in the community. Say, for instance, you've got a group in the community where you do group work. Then you do that and you assist people with certain skills, but by doing that you gain certain skills. So what students normally ask is, what can I do after I've obtained this degree? You can work as a youth worker or a youth pastor within a congregation. So I normally ask students to make contact before you study, and while you study, stay in contact with your own denomination, your local congregation, but also the bigger denomination, to ask what is the options within your church denomination for work. What is the work possibilities? Will they be able to give you some possibilities to work in the church? You can also do the similar work within a community, but you can also do it in schools. There's sometimes churches or community organizations that make an appointment in schools where people that have done this training do counseling and also spiritual development. You also always have the option for further studies. We offer a postgrad diploma in theology, which is then on an honors level, and obviously many students also follow the postgrad certificate in education. And we will give you more information as soon as you arrived with us in your first year. You will definitely do, if you choose to youth work, you will come to me and I will explain this even further. But there are different options after you've qualified with your BTH. Then just something about the classes. You can see we're quite diverse, our classes, in terms of gender, race, and even also spirituality. And our classes are interactive. Students have to perform, they have to participate, they have to ask questions, they have to do participations. They have to participate, and sometimes we also have, we're well connected internationally, so we also have international visitors sometimes. The last thing I would like to make very clear to you, when you come here, you're not alone. This may be a new world for you. It can be exciting, but I can promise you it can also be very challenging. So first of all, what kind of help could you find when you come here? So I would like to focus on 3 things at the faculty. The first help that we have there is your theological student committee. That's a group of students that, so to speak, run the affairs of students in the faculty. So they will meet you at the doorsteps. They will come and get you where you are here on campus. They will show you around, and they will answer a lot of questions for you, especially during that first week, which we call the orientation week. So they will show you around, and they will also explain to you what kind of services they can offer. Then they've sort of launched a mentoring program where they connect senior students with new incoming students, and that's a wonderful program where you can an older student and a more senior student sort of journey with you from the first year, where you can ask a lot of things, and the people will assist you. That is other students, so it's kind of a peer-to-peer mentoring. Then we also have a recently appointed person, Reverend David Maton. We specifically focus on first year assessment. He will assist you on how to do an assignment, how to write, how to access and work on Sunlearn. So all these things that you need to learn, there is things in place to assist you with. So in the faculty, that's the first one. Then the last one is then also what is the general service that's available for all, not only in our faculty, but on general on campus. You will have campus health. There you can access a medical doctor if you have any medical condition. So the student committee will also show you where that is. All this information of these different units are also available online on our website. But then more importantly, there's also different other units. There's a Center for Disabilities, so which focuses on students with disabilities. I think many times when you have a disability, you feel lonely, you feel excluded, and you feel people don't understand your needs. But we do have a center that will assist specifically and attend to those students. We have also the other centers for counseling and student development, which is very important, where they can assist you with study techniques and how to handle stress, especially when it comes to exams, how to prepare for exams, and there's also psychotherapeutic support. The most important thing in terms of help is not only having the knowledge of where you can find help, but to seek help. And that's important. In my experience over the 20 years with students is that they don't seek help in time. So I would like to encourage you, once you're here, double check this information with us, seek help. Your first entry point can be your lecturer, can be the student committee, can be your mentor, and from there you can seek also help on the broader campus. I would really like to thank you for listening to me, and I hope to see you on campus next year. May you have a blessed Christmas. Thank you.